Hi, it is day number 2 with the first week in your fall semester 2022. And this is 2D Fundamentals. It is a dual credit course from the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe. And if you're here for the first time, I'm going to review a little bit of what we talked about yesterday. My name is Miss Lane, and I am your instructor for this class. Some of you may know me just around campus, and probably most of you do. So let me just review a little bit of what we talked about yesterday. I talked about a quiz that you were going to take over the information in the video that I created yesterday. And then I did kind of a self-introduction, told you a little bit about myself, my education, my family, the fact that I love to travel and student trips. And then I talked to you about dual credit courses and what they meant. I told you about a meeting that we're going to have with parents and you sometime here soon. I'm not quite sure what the date is, since the date today is only the 24th of July, and you're watching this on the 9th of August. So things will have changed in the meantime, and I will have a date probably for you by then, and some packets to hand out to you. So let's look here. You're going to have a quiz. You had a quiz. After I introduced myself, then I talked to you a little bit about dual credit and how it's different from your regular high school classes, and you are getting college credit for this class if you get a grade over 70%, that it offers you independence and movement toward a college degree. Great news, and it's all free. So we talked about that yesterday. I took you through the syllabus, and part of your quiz was over the syllabus. And then I talked about my classroom expectations. And those of you who weren't there, of course, one of them has to do with cell phones and the fact that we do use them in class for class purposes, but that they are problematic. And they're problematic to focus. And I talked about that at length. And then I talked to you a little bit about deadlines and how you will be subject to deadlines in this class, because it is a college course and we need to get through what's required of us to take care of the different assignments that are in your course. And I took you to the idea of a Canvas learning management system, and I'm going to take you there today. I'm going to show you your class in Canvas. And so we'll have more discussion of classroom expectations and all this stuff. I'll go over it again and we'll reiterate it again. But today what I want to do is to take you through your Canvas course just briefly to kind of show you the environment of a Canvas learning management system that you will have access to as soon as your paperwork is done and as soon as you get your password and your username. And then we'll be good to go, hopefully by the end of next week. So today, what I'm going to do is take you into the course. I'm going to share my screen with you. And this is your dashboard for 2D fundamentals. I'm hovering over it right now. And I'm going to open it up. This is little squares. And you'll click on it, and yours will look something like that, not the same. And then you're going to come to a section where there is some stuff that belongs to the Institute. Welcome, Zoom class sessions, tech support, all that, all your resources. And we'll go over that in detail more when I get back to school. But then you have your weekly assignments, and they're in a module format. And these weekly assignments go along with the syllabus that I showed you yesterday. The syllabus and the weekly assignments by necessity have to coordinate. They have to go together. And so this week we are in the introduction. And so I'm not going to open this up yet, but I just kind of want to show you the introduction. Then we're going to go into gesture drawing. We're going to the elements of art, line, more elements of shape and value, form, space, and texture. Color, you're going to love that. We have a number of assignments in color. Scale, and then we go into the principles of art, which are scale and proportion. Week 9 and 10, principles of art, pattern and rhythm. Week 11 and 12, media and processes. And then you have a final project proposal, and your final project will be turned in that week 14 through 16. So I've combined some of these modules together because there's a lot of content in them. So let's open this one up and kind of see what it looks like. So in this particular module, we'll have an image here of an old, and I think I mentioned it in the last video. It's called the Exquisite Corpse. And it is an old parlor game, long before cell phones and TV and internet. I mean, we're talking a long time ago. These started, and they were mostly collaborative. In other words, there were different parts to it. Like you can see, these each have 3 different parts. There's a head, there's a torso, and there's the lower part of the body. And so one person or a couple of people would work on the head, and then a couple of people would work on the torso, and a couple of people would work on the final part, and then they'd put them all together. And I told you, I think in the last video, I was going to show you some samples, and I was down at the school today, and I forgot to bring them home so that I could show them to you. So I'll show them to you when I get there Wednesday. I'll show you some of the examples, and it'll be more fun anyway, because you'll be able to hold them and look at them and see. It's pretty different. It's different than the ones you're going to be doing. The ones they did that I have in the classroom are not just one figure. There's there's actually multiple figures because it's a folding thing. I'll have to show it to you next week. It's probably best that I didn't bring it home today because it's hard to see and understand unless you can actually hold it in your hand. But it's a great project and very creative. No pressure to produce something amazing. But so this is what your modules will look like. Most of these modules last for a week. This one in particular, I'm not quite sure because the dual credit paperwork, I know we're going to have a meeting. I told you about that last week, and we're going to have a meeting with parents, and we got to get these dual credit forms in really before we land too much on these modules. So in this one, you see the main emphasis is going to be the Exquisite Corpse. Sounds kind of crazy, huh? It's fun. And as you go into art more and more, there's a lot of it that it maybe feels kind of, wow, this is kind of weird, different, because art can be so much fun and allows so much place for you to expand your imagination and your skill. So this particular module says you're going to have an introduction to the course with the course syllabus. We did that yesterday. And hopefully you turned your quiz in. And so that's a done deal. And then we're going to talk about materials next week when I get back, materials and your applications and so on and so forth. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you a couple of videos. And then you're going to have a handout for this Exquisite Corpse. And that will be what you will do after you watch this video. And so your assignments in these modules are numbered according to the module. Like this is module 1. So you notice assignment number 1A, assignment number 1B. That means it was in module 1. So that makes it real simple. And it lines with the grade book. Now let me show you real quickly. Let me show you the grade book. And there's nothing in it right now, I hope, because nobody's there. You'll have all your assignments. Like there's your Exquisite Corpse. It has 50 points. And that's 1B. And then when you view it on your canvas, it's going to look a little different than mine, because mine has the names of all the students and all their grades in there. But you do have your grade book, and that's such a nice thing to have. And I will keep reminding you to check on it. So you have a resource here that we're going to look at in a minute. And then when I get back, you're going to set up your portfolio. And it's on a Google Slides. And everything that you do in class, you're going to take pictures of. That's one of the reasons that phones are difficult in class, because we do need our phones in the class. The photographs that you take on your Chromebook, I have not found up to this point to be adequate. The phone camera that you have on your person, I know that is a better camera. It's a far better camera. My new phone, the camera's amazing. And so we want good photos in your portfolio. So if you do not have a phone, not to worry. We'll work something out there. And then assignment 1B is going to be the submission of your Exquisite Corpse, but that comes later. So then this is a pattern for all your modules. Then you'll have a minute sentence, and you click on, these are all clickable links. And you'll open the minute sentence, and all that is a brief response, a 1-minute response to what you learned that week. And that will be due on Thursday every week. 1 sentence, 1 minute. No reason not to do it. So let's keep up. We'll look at the portfolio. Portfolio will be something that you will have to keep up with all your assignments. As soon as you finish your assignments, you can submit them in your portfolio in the assignment, and I can see them. So it's important that you stay up with your portfolio, everything you submit in your portfolio. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get out of the screen share for just a second. And I'm going to share some videos with you, and I need you to watch the videos, and then you're going to have a handout. The videos, when the videos are over, I'll come back and talk to you for just a second, but I want you to watch carefully the videos, because it's important that you see this content for you to understand the assignment. I think there's 3, if I remember right. And so I'm going to turn off my video. And you can see my snail. That's an actual photograph that I took. I had a terrarium in my office, and I woke up one morning, and I was had been working on a syllabus the night before, and the snail was there. And I mean, it looked like he was reading my syllabus. It was pretty crazy. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to play these videos, and I want you to watch them. If you want, there is paper available in the room. I'll have paper available. It should be there for you. If you want to take notes, that's fine. And there may be another time where we can watch these videos together, but there's 3 of them. And let me make sure you can, I don't know that you can see that right now. Let me make sure. Let me share my screen. No, you can't see it. Let me fix that. Okay, let me fix it real quickly. Okay, now we go here. Go screen share. Here. Okay, now we're ready to go. And we're going to watch 3 of them. MoMA is the Museum of Modern Art in New York. We're going to start here at the top. And I will
question. Would you build a website for a major brand with more than 200 million users using Wix? Well, we did.
All right, here you go.
Hey everybody, my name is Sandeep Johal, and I'm an artist living and working in Vancouver, BC. My art practice consists of drawing, painting, and mural work. You've probably seen my murals around the Lower Mainland, but if not, keep an eye out. I'm coming to you live from my home studio at my trusty kitchen table, and I'm going to show you how to do one of my favorite activities of all time, Exquisite Corpse. I love Exquisite Corpse for a lot of reasons, mostly because it's super fun, but you can do it anywhere, anytime with anyone. It doesn't require any specific skill set. It doesn't require a ton of materials. Before we start the activity, I want to show you an example of Exquisite Corpse. This is one that I did by myself, but usually I do it with 2 or more people. We're creating a collaborative drawing that has 3 parts: a head, a torso, and legs. You can use animals, humans, any kind of mythological creature you can think of. It's totally up to you what you want to draw. Whatever, let your imagination go wild. All you need is a piece of paper. This is your standard 8.5 inch by 11 inch printer paper, but you can use any kind of paper you want or any size you want. You're going to take this paper and fold it in half lengthwise to get this lovely crease. Now, you're going to either use a pair of scissors and cut this paper in half, or you can use a ruler and tear this paper in half to get this. Now, you're going to fold each of these into thirds, and it'll look something like this. So you'll begin by drawing the head in section 1. You'll draw a neck, and those lines will extend into section 2. So when you're done, you will fold 1 over and 3 under, and you'll pass this to the next person. They'll continue drawing the torso from where you've left the necklines. When they're done the torso, they're going to draw those lines onto section 3 for the next person, so they know where the torso ends and the legs begin. I'm going to draw a bird head and make sure that I extend the lines into section 2, which is key. So you can see that I've extended the lines over the fold. And now I'm gonna complete the bird. I usually use a thin tip black felt, but for this demo, I wanted to use something thicker so you guys could see this better. And really, it's up to you. You can use whatever you want. You can use a felt, pencil crayon, a crayon, as long as it doesn't bleed through to the back of the paper. So I'm gonna add some eyelashes. Do birds have eyelashes? I don't know. This one does. I'm gonna add an eyebrow, and then you can add like accessories, make things fun. So I'm gonna add a little top hat, because who doesn't like a bird with a top hat? And then I'm gonna add some stripes. So you can get as detailed as you'd like. I'm gonna add a bunch of pattern, add some dots to this pattern, and then some stripes. And then finish off with some lines on the head. Oh, and maybe I'll add a flower. So now I'm going to pass this to the next person, but since I'm the only one doing this, I am the next person. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to flip section 3 underneath. So you have section 2 here, and this is going to be the torso. So I'm going to draw, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a multi-armed monster with 6 arms and 4 fingers on each hand. So now we have the torso. So you're going to flip this over to section 3 and hand that to the next person. But again, since I'm the only person doing this, I am the next person. So now we'll finish it off with, I don't know, how about some octopus legs? Add a few extra, and I'm done the legs. So are you ready for the big reveal? Dun, 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 dun. What is this? It's got the head of a bird, the body of a monster, and the legs of an octopus. How fun is this? This is the part I like best, because you get to see how everyone's drawings work together to create this wild, magical creature. I hope you enjoyed learning how to do Exquisite Corpse, and I hope you do them with your friends and family because it's super fun. Anyway, thanks for drawing along with me. Bye!
Okay, that was the first one. And now we're going to look at this one, a little bit different.
We're in Rosarito, Mexico today, not far from Tijuana, at the studio of Hugo Crosthwaite. Hugo is a master draftsman who makes large-scale drawings that blend figure and abstraction, building narratives through an additive detail-by-detail process. He combines mythical and historical sources with imagery drawn from observation, often reflecting on the tension and admixture of cultures of this border city where he spends much of his time. The funny thing, he's not actually here right now. When I got in touch with him to ask him to participate in the show, he said he'd love to, but that he'd be in Chicago for a residency during our visit. There, he's working on a new wall drawing called Heroic Procession, exploring Homer's Odysseus, who, like many Mexican immigrants, chose to travel to a foreign land for opportunity. It's not uncommon for Hugo and for many artists to travel as part of their practice. And our assignment today is actually going to have to do with just that. How when we travel, we take our narratives with us and create new communities wherever we go. So let's go to Chicago.
I'm Hugo Crosthwaite, and this is your art assignment. Usually muralism is, in terms of me being a Mexican artist, I come with this heavy tradition of Mexican muralism, Diego Rivera, Siqueiros. But those murals were, in a way, didactic, beautiful pieces of work, incredible art, but they were also about teaching the Mexican public what we accomplished after the Mexican Revolution. They had this purpose of the idea that these murals are going to last as long as a regime. So then 1,000 years, Mexico will last forever and these murals will last forever. But in this case, I wanted to play with the notion of muralism as performance, but then also the idea of the impermanence of it. Like, we all die, nothing lasts forever. So then my murals are not immortal. So then it's this very simple narrative of the city I come from, Tijuana. So then I created this mural precisely as that, as this improvised storytelling of what of what I think people think of Tijuana, or what I hear people think of Tijuana. No? So then I improvised this narrative as a sort of religious procession. So then you have the profane and the sacred marching together. There's cartoon characters, there's elements of the narco violence, elements of the prostitution that happens in Tijuana, elements of the migrant situation of the border, the sacred and the profane, all coming together in this kind of brutal kind of painting composition. But then in the end, once I start working on the mural, I work on it for only 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most. And then once I finish the mural, I would start destroying it. And destroying it by painting little white squares into it. I never identified with the art process of a painter. But then when I would talk to poets, well, they would say, well, I just string words along. I come up with one word, and then I put another word, and then a narrative starts unfolding. And I thought, well, that's exactly the way I work. It's this idea of just doing a detail and then adding another detail and then creating a narrative. Coming here to Mana Contemporary and seeing this community of artists, I thought, well, it would be great if we could do something with other artists also. Like, we all bring our stories. I'm coming from Tijuana, and I'm carrying with me Tijuana, and it's here in the mural, and I brought it with me. But then there's other artists from different places here who bring their own stories. So then I thought, how could we put all these together? I thought at first, well, we could do a mural, and it's this huge mural, and I do my section, and the other guy comes in and does their section and whatever, and we all try to connect all these narratives. But I thought, well, that would be boring, and it's not really a game. So then thinking about the concept of game, well, I thought about, the thing that popped into my mind was the surrealist game, the Exquisite Corpse. For your art assignment, I want you to find a drawing surface. It can be a piece of paper, it can be a wall. And then I want you to decide on a group of friends that will come together and join you in this. one of you guys start the drawing, but then cover it and only leave a clue for the next person. Then the next person continues the drawing in sequence and does their own thing, and then they cover it, but they only leave a clue for the next artist. So then in the end, you guys will come together in this narrative and have this huge unveiling where this whole collective narrative will come together and you guys will see this exquisite corpse.
So John, the Surrealists came up with this Exquisite Corpse game, which we actually talked about in one of our very first episodes.
Yeah, it always makes you think about how much improvisation is involved in art and in making things. Like Neil Gaiman once said that writing a novel is like driving home at night with only the headlights to guide you. Like you can't see very far in front of you, but you can still get home. It also makes me think about how in any kind of art making, there's a portion of it that you do alone, and there's a portion of it that's inherently collaborative, where you're responding to the work of other artists or writers, where you're working in collaboration with the viewers or with other artists. But at the same time, there's part of art that has to be done kind of inside your head. And the Exquisite Corpse for me really captures both those things.
Right, because you're working with only a sliver of knowledge of what other people are doing. And isn't that all of art history, where artists sort of know some other artists and know what other people are doing, but to a certain extent, you're off on your own. And art history and history makes sense of it later and sort of places you as part of a time period or movement. And this assignment actually really made me think about the work of one particular group of German expressionist painters and how they had a common goal, but they were all sort of working separately and doing their own thing. In 1911 in Munich, Germany, Wassily Kandinsky, Franz Marc, and Gabriel Munter founded a group they called Der Blau Reiter, or the Blue Rider, after a common motif in their work. For Kandinsky, the horse and rider was a symbol for moving beyond realistic representation and toward a new kind of art, namely abstraction. They put on exhibitions and published an almanac, which laid out their goal of giving form to the spiritual, embracing a wide range of styles to advance the idea of an inner necessity of art. While the other famous German expressionist group, Die Brücke, or the Bridge, lived together and came up with a very unified figurative style, Der Blau Reiter was a loosely associated group, as embracing of abstract art as music, Egyptian shadow play figures, art by children, and figures from South Borneo.
All right, we're gonna watch the final video. I'm gonna stop my screen share for just a second. All right, let's go ahead and put on this last video. Let me share my screen. All right, this in this particular, it's not a video. This this one is from the Museum of Modern Art, and it's giving you some examples of some exquisite corpses, and you've seen quite a few of them already. And let's look at some of these other ones that they have here that I particularly like. Trying to find it. I think it's this one right here. Very similar, a little bit different than what you're seeing, because you've got the head, you've got the bottom, and you've got the middle, but it's a little bit more creative than what we looked at, just the simple 3 different parts. So what I want you to get out of this today, let me turn my video back on. What I want you to get out of this today is that we're going to be doing this project together. And it may not be on that small piece of paper that they were talking about there. I tend to like to work a little bit larger. And so when we're through with this video, which needs to conclude pretty quickly, you have an idea of what the Exquisite Corpse is, and you have an idea of what it is to work collaboratively with with other students in the classroom. And what we're going to end up doing is working on all 3 parts at the same time. And I'll show you how that works when I come back tomorrow, so that we don't have to wait for one person to finish for the next part and for the next part. So we can hopefully think about getting it done in 2 class periods, because I don't want it just to be a line drawing. I want you to add color as well to it, and then we'll put it together. So I'm excited about it. Now you are going to have a handout to respond to this, the videos and to today's exploration of Canvas. So I'm going to let you go because I'm going too long. So the handout will come immediately, and then hopefully you'll have time to finish it before class ends. And in any case, I'll see you tomorrow.